We'll start in South Africa, where government mediators in the country say that a solution is in the works to end a strike that has affected close to 40% of global platinum supply. However, the Commission for Conciliation, Mediation and Arbitration have declined to reveal what it contained in the proposal, but in a statement released, they expressed confidence that the proposed solution could form the basis of a final settlement. Platinum workers downed tools more than a week ago, while talks between the union, the Association of Mine Workers and Construction Union, and the three top platinum producers have so far failed to agree on a resolution. Talks have been suspended until Tuesday. Workers are demanding a minimum wage be more than doubled to $1,100 a month and have rejected a 9% raise offered by employers last week. All right, staying with South Africa, Iraq is hopeful that it will soon be able to sign a deal to supply crude oil to the country. The two countries have been in talks about reestablishing trade ties. With more on this, CCTV's Sumitra Naidu reports.
Iraq is trying to rebuild its economy after a US-led invasion and international sanctions. The Saddam Hussein regime also became notorious for bribery and corruption in the UN Oil for Food program. But it seems the new Iraqi regime has left that era behind and has managed to lift its economy.
The Iraqi economy has been also one of the top 10 fastest growing economies in the past 5 years, with an average economic growth rate of 8 to 10%. I think the above figures are excellent given the negative global financial environment.
Iraq still faces huge security challenges and political uncertainty after US troops pulled out of the country about 3 years ago. Investors have been slow to re-enter the country. Oil accounts for almost all Iraq's revenue, and despite efforts to boost its oil exports, the numbers took a dip last year to 89.22 billion barrels from just over 94 billion barrels in 2012. Iraq is now on a roadshow trying to strengthen trade ties with several countries, including South Africa.
We have agreed to remove some of the existing barriers to make it easier for Iraq to provide South Africa with crude oil. The Iraqi crude oil, especially the Basra Light one, is very suitable for your refineries, and Iraq is in a good position to provide security for the supply of crude oil to South Africa.
Trade between South Africa and Iraq amounted to around $20 million in 2011, but this figure had dropped from $170 million in 2007. Iraq says they are hoping to resurrect more positive trade numbers.
Iraq has been identified as the only country in the world that has the potential to increase its production level by over 5 million barrels per day. This is one of the reasons why we are in a good position to provide South Africa and other countries with stable supply.
OPEC estimates that Iraqi oil exports could double by 2020. But in a bid to be less dependent on the commodity, Iraq is rebuilding its infrastructure and trying to boost its tourism industry. Sumitra Naidu, CCTV.
We move now to Côte d'Ivoire, where the Invest in Côte d'Ivoire Forum closed in Abidjan on Saturday, having hosted more than 3,000 participants from 103 countries. The objective of the forum was to mobilize large-scale private sector support as the country seeks economic recovery after 10 years of political unrest. The country was once described as West Africa's driving force, but lost this position during the war. Côte d'Ivoire has prioritized improving the ease of doing business and was ranked among countries that have implemented the most reforms by the World Bank's Doing Business report last year. The four-day forum explored partnerships in agribusiness, infrastructure development, and the growth of small and medium enterprises.
I am very pleased and impressed by the competence of participants inside and outside here. There was an unprecedented mobilization. The ministers were accessible and I was able to talk with many of them.
From now on, it will be courage, competence, risk-taking and excellence.
I would like to assure you that your relevant observations and suggestions received during the discussions will be examined with great care, sincerity and in an effective manner. All commitments made by the government will be implemented as soon as possible.
All right, let's take a quick look at the markets to see how they're starting the day. We start with the Nigerian All-Share Index, which is starting the day posting in the red, down 0.07%. We move to the JSE, which is starting the day posting in the green, up 0.24%. We move to the Nairobi Securities Exchange, which is posting today in the red, down 2.11%. And lastly, to the EGX, which is starting the day in the red as well, down 0.44%. And that's all we have for business for now. Back to you, Panita.